So welcome to week 8 of the term, and for this week we are looking at doing some negative painting. So negative painting is as it sounds. It's painting not the object itself, but the area around the object. And this is kind of particularly useful when you're sort of trying to create depth within your work. And in fact, we probably use negative painting, quite sort of unconsciously. We've never sort of given it a name as such, and we probably do it all the time. But here we're going to look at it very specifically, and then we're going to do a very short exercise first, and then if you want to extend that learning, I'm going to show you a painting that you can possibly do afterwards. Okay, so let's get started with the first exercise. So we're just going to use 3 colours. So we're going to use a Windsor yellow, we're going to use a French ultramarine, and we're going to use a green. So we're going to sort of try and do a kind of leaf painting, just using those 3 colours. Okay, so the first thing to do is actually just to put a very kind of loose wash down first. Right, so let's do that first. So I'm just mixing my my colours, and I'm just going to put them down. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow in there as well, and just kind of put that down in quite a sort of loose way. So I'm just using an A4 sheet of paper for this. Just trying to sort of keep it quite small so we can kind of start building up the picture kind of pretty quickly. So allowing it all to kind of just run into one another. Okay, maybe I'll just balance that kind of blue over there with a little bit more sort of darkness over here. Okay, we can do a little bit of splashing on there just to add a little bit of texture. I'm just going to try and blend that there a little bit more. Okay, so that's the easy part. Okay, so we're just going to allow that to dry, and I'm just going to use the hairdryer on it, so I'll just pause the video, dry this off, and then we'll come back and do the next bit. So now that's nice and dried, what I'm going to ask you to do is actually just to draw some random kind of leaf shapes on this. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do hopefully you can kind of see this. So I've got a leaf shape there, and I'm going to take that down, and then maybe draw something else here. Okay, so once I've drawn that, what I'm going to do is, so with the negative painting, what I'm doing is I'm not painting the actual leaves, I'm painting all the spaces kind of in between. So I'm going to drop down to a slightly kind of smaller brush, and we're going to use the same 3 colours, but maybe in a slightly kind of darker mix this time. Okay, so I'm just mixing my colours up. Okay, and I'm going to start off over here. Okay, so that's the first, the second layer done. So what I'm going to do is dry that off. And once I've dried that off, I'm going to draw some more leaves and do some more filling in. So you'll see it kind of building and growing as we go on. Okay, so that's nice and dried, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a second layer of leaves. So some of them are going to be going underneath the ones that I've already drawn. Some are going to be popping up and becoming new ones. So. Okay, so once I've drawn those, I can go ahead and start filling in again. So I'm going to leave the ones that I've already done and also leave these ones, but paint all the spaces around what's left. And also the paint starts to get thicker and darker as we go on. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so that's the and that layer done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is dry that off, and we're going to do one more layer of leaves and colour. Okay, so that's all nice and dry, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw my next set of leaves, and then we'll get on and do the painting. So I'm going to pause the video, draw my flowers, draw my leaves, and then we'll do the last layer. Okay, so I'm going to get started with that last layer, and this time I'm going to be using a really thick dark sort of mix just to create that last sort of level of depth. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so that is now done. That's our final layer done, and you can really see how effective something like this negative painting can be, especially when you're kind of trying to create depth within your painting. So once you've kind of finished this exercise, and if you want to extend it further, I'm going to just demonstrate another way of using this.